waiting and think, but President Bill State opening address where he make na Parliament this BNTM. Now the program this morning we want to welcome CDI Tunis, Deputy Publicity Secretary for the APC. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, always a pleasure for the year.
And also I want to welcome Lawrence Bolokoka, National Publicity Secretary, C4C Party. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning and thank you.
All right, and we'd expect somebody from the SLPP in the program, Good Morning Salone.
We continue with the program, Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. The first issue where we look at inside the program this morning, I want we headlines to read them. Outside the head of media and the Salone Police Superintendent Rema Kamara say, police don't arrest 10 people where they say be mixed power riots. What happened on mile 38, Sunday, May 31st this year. Also, I say what Okada rider be lost in life during this riot. He talked this inside one interview to Mangi Mansari, where he be the give updates about how far the police they now with the investigation of this riot and how many people they don't arrest.
Honestly, we honestly we get this inter-district lockdown where they restrict the movement of people. But what we can observe of late, now that these Okada boys, they get a kind of cartel, a kind of group where they operate on. Then they take passengers from one area, get the other one to reach on the other side, they go use bypass, go up and then they walk on another point, the other one and pick them both. Now this time don't they do. So whether they were expecting the police for good day or not, the police appear at the scene. So the moment they see the police at the scene, so everybody will go helter skelter, thinking that the police was there to arrest them. So one among them who be the one helter skelter, the one from all directions. Now one panel, anyone who crossed before one motor, and must for hitter. So it's not like the police are running after them. They be the one because they see the police. And because they run because they know say they don't commit an offense.
Plenty people don't they say a habitual police they always do them. Not to a mile 38 no more. It don't they happen on the other side them. Outside police don't they run at Okada man then say they go lost their life. So this one has something where they don't they raise concern.
It's not a matter of police run after somebody. It's a matter of somebody seeing the police and if they don't commit an offense, they run away from the police. That's it. It's simple and straightforward. You know they see private motorbike they pass. You see it's police they want to attack. No. Now you they see the police and because you know say commit an offense, the way you see the police, they want away. That ain't exactly happening. Because they see the police and so they thought the police was there to arrest and then everybody they want not one way one away. Everybody me they want. But you want go in the wrong direction. They want go in the wrong direction, other vehicle they can't the vehicle get for hit and they get for end up for that. So now them they run away from the police. It's not the police running after them, but they are running away from the police.
Well, high witness don't they say now the police we know they run after the Okada man persistently. We make it actually lost in life.
Not you want give me daily. Plenty. So how the police go chase one particular Okada when them plenty? No, not be very frank. Not you want them plenty there. Them plenty. So how you go to chase one persistently? What about the others? No. Now they see the police. And because they see the police and they knew they were doing the wrong thing and thinking that the police was going to arrest them, so they take off. So the other end going at the other end, he ain't going at the wrong end. They don't be care enough for CCR vehicle they can.
Well, plenty people don't they say because even though the Okada man and Kinde at fault, but the manner in which police they run after them, the police not go use their discretion. Say it will be dangerous. I ain't as much as they run away from me. Man left I wanted. Why the police not can use that judgment say? Rather than they can do something say then go bang Okadama and then kind of thing and they can end up for lost their life.
The man way they use under and the man way they work by foot. You can't get speed passing up. The police do on foot. Who speed and train who police get for one behind or karate or kishan by foot. The fact of the matter is, I mean we have to be very frank. The fact of the matter is that person will not commit offense or we not in the process of committing offense. When you see the policeman, you not get no issue. Even if the police can't meet time, you go sit down and talk with the police. But because they always believe in and get issue, so the sooner they see the police, they always get it for one. So me advice to them, whether it's CBD or waiting happen on my 38, you know if it's supposed to happen, they say inter-district lockdown. Why do you have to pick passengers from one end, can't drop them off the other one and can't pick them? That one is all lawlessness. It's all breach of the inter-district lockdown. So if you see the police and then you think say today the police now you they come for car arrest, and then you run away, they will get you demise, like waiting happen. So I mean you get yourself for blame.
Mr. said on the sea, beside them they run at Okada man, they not to on foot then can run at them. The police then can get vehicle, the police then can get bike, so not to on foot then can know them. You know feel say then kind thing then they don't wrong. And the policemen then judgment, weigh the options, look at the greater evil. Take a better decision rather than chasing them say somebody go lost in life.
Now you want to go lost your life. Me advice to civilians or to whoever, just be compliant with the rules and regulations and the law. Sometimes if the policeman even see you, sometimes not even see you. But it is natural. Anybody where they commit an offense, just even within the home situation, somebody with the thief soup, somebody with the thief now house. The moment somebody come, they just feel guilty, say sometimes they don't know, say are they thief or are they do this. Then sometimes it becomes so uneasy to a point you even go kick plates and broke the plates.
So are not effected any arrest?
We effected arrest and we still effect arrest because after that incident, they come, then go mobilize themselves. Therefore, storm the police station and if for storm the checkpoint them, but maybe for repel them with tear gas. So that would be the two stones, that would be the burnt tires. I mean, like people will see them. And so we went after them, and then those who were for arrest, And I don't know for arrest, but we still know them, we still picture them. We will arrest them any other time.
So how many do you in custody now?
At the moment, we'll do the first arrest and be 10, but the number is still going. So you could possibly say don't go above that now.
So like, therefore charge and good court?
And that's not the ultimate. I mean, we'll be in a come under public other offenses. Righteous conduct, disorderly behavior. I mean, if they damage anything, we'll be in come for malicious damage, and so on and so forth.
That's now Superintendent Brianna Kamara in at the head of media and at the Salone Police. If they talk to Mange Mansari inside that interview, they for sake of the 10 people we say police be arrested on Sunday, May 31st this year. Usai riot may happen on mile 38. Usai one Okada rider they end up losing life. We they continue with the program Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. 077-981-981 and the number for send you message, and you self can be part of the program this Tuesday morning.
Right, well, we want to apologize for that each day. We continue with the program Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from 98.1 FM. Well, we're going to court to side the alleged treason case. They continue in a high court before Justice Alhaji Momoja Stevens. The lead counsel for retired Major for Paulo Conte, lawyer Joseph Ejira Kamara, say if the state prosecution team not able to produce the CCTV recording for make justice day, that is still go show no treason case, no they go and go and in the case. We court reporter Usman Kamara gets more and gonna report.
Monday, June 1st this year, the number 5 witness, police detective Alhaji Ibrahima Gaima 4645, don't start for testifying at High Court before Justice Alhaji Momoja Stevens, but waiting in Sabi inside the treason case where they carry on. Where it be the talk, Sergeant Alhaji Ibrahima Gaima say Thursday, March 19 this year, he maintain a status on duty, where in boss tell and say if for come down at the reception and tell in colleague officer them say some people then get for come per meeting. And after we don't get the message, they say it's him up na the front reception desk and they observe the people them where they come. And na they see retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte come and team up near the domots and self been here with small brown bag na in hand. But according to Sergeant Alhaji Ibrahima Gaima, he say he no me know wetin Paulo Conte dey do. We make him pay attention to him for no the reason we make itimap usa itimap. After that, Paulo Conte be use the small road near the scanning and mental detector near the wall, but say still him dey observe him. And later, one part in colleague them be ask him, usa he dey go and why he no scan him bag. And after this question, Sergeant Alhaji Ibrahima Gaima say Paulo Conte be ace in hand and say he gets weapon inside the brown bag. But Sergeant Alhaji Ibrahima Gaima say that because in colleague asked him for scan the bag, now that same day, retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte say he gets weapon inside the brown bag. We make him go up and tell him boss man them. No further question, my lord, says the state prosecutor, lawyer Adrian Fisher. After this explanation, cross-examination by retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte in lawyer Fijira Kamara. First question na that, when last you talk to the state prosecution team? Quick objection by lawyer Adrian Fisher say, lawyer Joseph Fijira Kamara not for ask this kind question because it's not proper. But lawyer Fijira Kamara be insist for make Sergeant Alhaji Ibrahima Gaima answer this particular question. And finally, he be answer say he not talk to any state prosecution team. Lawyer Fijira Kamara be asked plenty question and later be say the witness not the talk to the court because waiting then in statement and waiting he talk na magistrate court not to the same. But during the term where the witness then a court, he say he don't take 2 years na state oath. We make lawyer Fijira Kamara Ask am if e know say CCTV camera dey na state house, and the witness bin say e no know. Na with some of dem question dem dey, the witness be done for testify. Witness number 6, Staff Sergeant Margaret Posua, and na the Attorney General and Minister of Justice be lead am during the time wey me dey testify in a court. Wey e dey talk, the witness number 6, Sergeant Margaret Posua say, e be sit down at the reception at State House, and e be see retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte come and bypass the scanning machine and try for go up the step and sef be hold small bag na in hand, but PC vacuum wey na the all me dey na the reception be stop her and ask am for scan in bag, but according to Sergeant Margaret Posua, e say Paulo Conte no be answer, and later be say e get weapon inside this bag, wey make Sergeant Alhaji Ibrahim Agaima be go up and tell him boss man dem, but wetin happen? This witness no may take plenty time na court for testify. Witness number 7 na Lieutenant Colonel Moriba Mohammed Posua, and in the Director for Presidential Guard na State House. Wey e dey talk, e say March 19 this year e dey na State House na in office after wey e don give instruction to some other officer dem, and me get call from Captain Angel and tell am say make e come down the reception, and when he reach, he be talk to Sergeant Alhaji Ibrahim Agaima, and Sergeant Alhaji Ibrahim Agaima been tell am but wetin happen, and say that's a security concern for am. We make e be call na CID, but before the CID officer then they come, he say he go down for check who's Motka come with retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte, and also if they no say retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte come with pistol, the officer them tell and say they already know, and safe be ask them if they search in motuka, and they may answer say yes. We make him return go na the first floor, also he meet the CID officer them we even call. Lieutenant Colonel Posua carry on say, he be explain give the CID officer them, say retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte can a state house with pistol. We make he ask the CID officer them for go with him, also retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte sit down. And when he reach, retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte been call him, hey, Colonel Posua, and Colonel Posua say, himself been salute him at the same time, and be ask and say, sir, now you get this bag? And retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte say yes, now me get the bag. And be ask her again say, security personnel them say, you come with pistol na state house. And retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte be reply say yes, but I get license for him. We make him pull the license at the small pocket and show all man within at the room. We make him take this pistol and give to Superintendent Bernard for check am. He may find out say 10 life rounds bullets be there inside the pistol, and me give to MK Aliu, when are the police officer. We may cross-examine Lieutenant Colonel MM Posua. The lawyer for retired Major Alfred Paulo Conte, lawyer Fijira Kamara, be asked in first question if they scan the bag before Lieutenant Colonel Posua. And Lieutenant Colonel Posua be answer say, no. Another question by lawyer Joseph Fijira Kamara, now that you open the bag during the time we then give you? Lieutenant Colonel Posua say, yes. Another question, now that if CCTV camera then a state house, and Lieutenant Colonel MM Posua, the answer say yes. Another question, if state house go make the able see the recording of the CCTV camera, but Lieutenant Colonel Posua say because of national security issue and this na open court, they not for talk about them because it get for do with the president. We make lawyer Joseph Fijira Kamara they make application for make the defense go see the recording, but lawyer Adrian Fisher been quick for object to the application because he say it get for do with the president insecurity and self not for talk this na public place. Now we then different question and answer ya be end Monday, June 1st proceedings na High Court. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Mina Usman Kamara, the report.
Alright, 7:47, now the time for our studio clock. We continue with the program where they bring this Tuesday edition of the program, Good Morning Salone. Mina Asma James.
And Mina Khadija Bangura. We continue with the program, Good Morning Salone. As Sona Yeri earlier, now one part we headline them. Today we get political party representative them for can look at His Excellency the President a address where he be make during the state opening at Parliament. Well, last Thursday, May 28 this year, His Excellency the President, Dr. Julius Madabio, being opened the third session of the fifth Parliament of the Second Republic of Salone. Also, he been tell MP them, but some party them where he don't do for develop the country for the past 2 years where he don't be president. And safe, some party them where he plan for do. Among them things where he be talk about inside in state opening address, it talk about different sector them we get for do with agriculture, you get for do with education and safe the health sector with other one them. Well, Radio Democracy be start for look at His Excellency in speech. Also last week Friday, we be host the presidential spokesman. We begin for talk about President Bill in speech. So today they continue with the speech, and we get different political party them na the studio. I want to welcome one more time CDI Tunis from the All People's Congress APC party. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you again for getting me here. Always pleasure for address with people on issues bordering on governance.
And say forget Lawrence Coker, where come out from the Coalition for Change C4C party. Good morning again, Mr. Coker.
Family, morning. I bring good greetings from the leader of the Coalition for Change, David Baikonte, and we national chairman, Mr. Tambasandi.
And again, at the studio, they expect somebody from the ruling Salone People's Party, who himself will join me shortly at the studio. But we continue with the program, and I will start with CDI at Tunis from the main opposition APC party. Last week, we see Usa His Excellency been do in state opening address. Usa he talk about plenty things them where he don't do for the past 2 years, where he don't be president, and self he talk about in future plans the way he gets for the country. Firstly, from the All People's Congress as main opposition party, what thing una think about the speech where His Excellency making a parliament last week?
Thank you very much, Khadija. I fumble them when good morning again. As always, I want to say plenty thank you and preface me address with a reminder to the people of this country of how serious the COVID-19, they threaten the existence of a country, how they ravage nations across the world. And I remind every Australian for take them serious and for abide by the precautionary measures with the Ministry of Health. And the EOC don't ask we all for follow. I also want to take this opportunity for say plenty thank you to we healthcare and frontline workers where they work under extreme circumstances for ensure say we do have COVID and save we lives. For come to the speech, we, now the opposition, APC, look the speech from various angles. In the first place, we see and say the speech in itself, now admission to plenty things that will be done say of how much we left this country on strong footing. When you look into the specifics of the speech, and you take the last address of His Excellency, the former President, Dr. Ernest Bai Krumah, to the House of Parliament. And then you also look at the handing over note where the former president do to the current president. You go find out say plenty thing in the inside, then to address then the way this speech make mention of, even though then tweak and somehow a little bit. That are just one aspect of it. So it tells this nation a solidify with position who always done they say, regardless of the propaganda that we left a broken country, a broken economy, a broken this, give a strong presentation of waiting we always done they say about how strong we left. And as we go into the program, I will go into the specifics of that. That is one aspect. Then secondly, we get a lot of inaccuracies and misrepresentation in the speech as far as specifics concerned. When you look at the issues of corruption, when you look at education, the speech mentioned a little about the justice system, and I'm glad that side we will go into this. The president incessant assures don't begin to realize that we get serious issue with the justice system, as the speech just say, one sentence regarding the justice system. So on the whole, that is how we view the speech. And as we go into the specifics, I will highlight the areas then and give the reasons why we view the speech that way.
Alright, continue for the with we in the studio, CDI Tunis from the All People's Congress. And quickly, I come back to you, Lawrence Coker from the C4C party. I go ask the same question I asked CDI Tunis from the C4C party. Una self now one party opposition party, them and their representation at parliament. What on a party make up of His Excellency speech where he do last Thursday?
Well, thank you very much. That's a very good opening question. In a nutshell, the C4C party, we aspect the day of the speech where we elect, where we gladly bought, and we will talk about that, and they will highlight that in there. Part of the day of the speech where we get reservations about, we will talk about that. And then part of the day of the speech where really just it worry we small because we're not sure what it mean. I think here I'm sort of alludes to that some parts of the speech, and they will want for let the president be sort of more focused on and talk about more we not do, but then we get for help for make the public understand. Say this speech as the president can write, he can give most of the time that the different ministry them, the different departments them, that all the rights they don't beat them and send that to the president. So for we want for let Sierra Leoneans understand, say, well, they look at this speech in itself, because they for understand why this speech is so important that they call people and for they can talk about it. One of the things that we want just Sierra Leoneans in general to understand is this speech here, so not like the governance manifesto, if you like. The Kinipan campaign, we only talk about what we can plan for do and things like that. When somebody win the election, then they change. The new president they can't anything in governance. So we as Sierra Leoneans, we need for the pay attention to this speech. We need for pay attention to the fact that waiting the president is saying like the governance manifesto for the next 12 months. So a lot of waiting day inside it, they affect our lives today. Always like thing that we use in the next few years. So thing they will happy about, because after the question I will feel about the speech. C4C, thing they will be happy about, and we'll talk about Andy. Thing they will get some reservations about, and thing they will just like how they make with the scared small.
All right, well, continue for the between the program in Lawrence Bolokoka, National Publicity Secretary for the C4C, the third largest political party in the parliament. We continue with the program, 7:55, now the time for most studio clock, and they come over again to CDI Tunis, and we expect, we'll forget representative from the Salone People's Party, now the program. CD, you make mention of some of the speeches them the speech represents you make get some elements of within the APC we don't do before. Go on for the specific now on which areas you talk about.
Well, thank you very much again. I hope say with the face mask, with people you're really out there. Well, I will start with their own flagship project, which are the education sector itself. I mean, for the longest time, we always don't tell this nation, say, the issue of free education, for example, an issue we been there at the heart of the previous administration, and an issue where a lot of emphasis been placed on. The goal of the previous administration not only now be for increased access to education, but for also ensure say the quality of education exists, and we increase education across the country for especially secondary, primary, and even tertiary education. And just after Ebola, the previous administration being also, as the president mentioned in his speech, and if you go back to the last address of His Excellency, the former president, we begin to provide teaching and learning materials for all non-private schools then at this country immediately after Ebola. And the government at that time been spent up to 26 billion. And also, then pay school fees for all non-private schools then, we cost we about 67 billion. And then interventions they also been very helpful, because we see the number of enrollment in our schools them increase. from primary level to secondary level, among the male and female. Over 700,000 for female, over 700,000 for male. We come to about 1.5 million access right there. And when I all go agree also with me that the previous administration they also they subsidize tuition for universities up to 80%. And we also been they pay 100% for all female students. They will be the offer sciences, now tertiary institutions then across this country.
So,
Subventions to universities be increased, just for ensure say the universities and schools they're able to function and provide quality education for people. So this whole idea of free education not start under this administration, and we're glad that they continue with them. However,
quickly, Mr. Tunis, before you go, you make mention of learning materials where UNA be provide for schools them and self-pay tuition fee. But for those such kind things for the education sector now one, but for sustainable issues around them now too. How you go describe the sustainability aspect of that in the way you say UNA been do during the term when it comes by education?
It was sustained. I mean, as far as we're concerned, up to the time we will hand over governance to this current government, we'll never get a glitch. And that is where I was coming. We'll never get a glitch as far as our finances, subvention to schools and universities, we'll never get a glitch. But as I speak now, the free education are the flagship project of this government. Despite what the government say or what the president say in the speech, I will categorically state here say the free education program they struggle. I mean, you're not going to talk about free education.
Why you say they struggle?
Now they talk. Now they
don't even start.
Now they
so sometimes they don't start. Governance that continuity. If they continue now, outside the struggling day.
Well, when you get there in governance, indeed not continuity. But when a government come and you want to give the impression as if nothing happened before they come, and you want to can change all of the dynamics, you struggle along the way.
All right,
and that is exactly what we see they happen with the education sector and other sectors. Then.
Okay, we go.
But like I stated, as we go into the programs, we will continue for shed lights on them today.
All right, well, now 8 o'clock for me, studio clock. We come back to we guess them. Let me just take this break.
Salone Commercial Bank don't come with new banking products them for make life easy. With Million Online Bank and Million Mobile app, you can able for use Salone Link money transfer for send money to anybody in let you not get bank account. Transfer or receive money na the same bank or any other bank. Transfer money to person or office in let you not get the account number. Buy eggs alight, pay other bill them, and now get advanced salary. You don't need for worry again but almost money then you earn. Because you can able for pay for things the way you buy in a supermarket and other shop them with the quick response code payment. Yakba don't done for the boss man them. With Beyond Online Direct, you can upload salary, pay all your supplier them, sell forex to Salone Commercial Bank, and watch your account anytime. If you need the app, download them from Google Play Store or any Apple Store or go on Salone Commercial Bank website www.slcb.com. Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, delivering value.
The Anti-Corruption Commission want for make all government workmen they know say the last day for declare the income, assets and liability now May 31 or before that 2020. Punishment go there for the one they will not declare by this term.
All government workmen will they elect, them politician them, all the one they would they grade 7 and above, and the one they serve what they lower grade, but same way so they deal with money.
Any government workman will then sack, retire or resign for declare. All the government workmen for declare after every 2 years. That means say now 2022 to go get the general declaration back.
You can also declare your assets online now www.anticorruption.gov.sl.
If you fail for declare, then go force all your salary. If you still not declare, then go suspend you. And if you still make trangayes, then go sack you after 3 months.
Make sure say you declare your income, assets and liability so that you don't go get what Allah.
This message they come out from the Anti-Corruption Commission.
All right, so we continue with the program. 2 minutes after 8, now the time for most studio clock. Good morning, Salone. Well, as we say earlier, we be expect somebody from the Salone People's Party, and we don't get inside the program like Long and Slimmer in the publicity sector. So inside the studios, we get three publicity secretaries for the three main political party there. We in at the C4C, the third largest in parliament, represented here by Lawrence Bolokoka, and also CDI Tunis, Deputy Publicity Secretary, the APC, and Laha Lawrence Lima from the SLPP. Good morning, Mr. Lima, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Asma, and thank you for having me.
All right. Well, earlier, Khadija asked with two guests them what did they make up of President's speech in address we make in a parliament. So briefly summarize within the SLPP party think of the speech where presidents make address the nation on Thursday.
Well, for the SLPP, we see the president in address to this nation as one way really to capture the party in manifesto into policy programs for the development of this country. We all will realize before we kind of governance, we get something like 32 priorities programs, and so we force retreat where we get that's been streamlined up to where we reduce them to 8. We capture a lot of the other programs them into thematic areas. And as we go along, the president got a clear vision as to who side this country in problem day and how it will be able to address this country in problems. It further also streamlined that into 3 priority programs. So you find out, say, the speech where the president do in the state opening of parliament, it really capture the other areas then, but the emphasis really lay on the 3 priority programs we in government hope for able to achieve, where that could form the basis for this country in development one. And that 3 programs then they get to do with education, they get to do with healthcare, and they also get to do with agriculture. And so we see say the president is focused in delivering on the manifesto promises where he make to the people of this country, as they do invest for translate that into government programs.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Then at the summary of within the Salone People's Party think of the president's speech address to the nation. We will come later to CD for continue as he begins to about education, but we come over again to C4C. He said then get 3 things that we pay attention to. Well, then get reservation. Some parts of the speech, then gladly, and some parts of the speech they worry. Mr. Bolo, you could just explain what you mean by the 3 things there, so we the C4C highlights.
Well, thank you very much. It's always nice to begin with the good stuff. I think one of the bad things about Salone politics, when we can in opposition, when the guys in government do good things, we're not can really talk about it. But Salone right now, we deal with something we call COVID-19. And this is something we don't bring the one whole world to a standstill. It really don't affect every single economy, whether we look at the economy, then they're as big or small. So the president in the opening, I'll just paraphrase what he's saying. He's saying confidence, like the trials, meaning the challenges that we don't get in the immediate past. This period, they provide yet another opportunity for all Sierra Leoneans, irrespective of religion, the ethnic tribe where they belong to, and the region where they originate from, for come together for the sake of a common destiny and for the sake of humanity. That kind of message now we need right now. Because trust me, people that don't feel like the citizens, don't feel like say bias day. Oh, they try for reward Sierra Leoneans, oh, they try for support Sierra Leoneans, oh, they try for empower Sierra Leoneans. So for the presidents, they come out and make any kind of statements, and we find them very positive. He also going for saying, go engender us, for build a Sierra Leone where they work for all of us. Now, if you're a politician, we're not going for that kind of talk. So we're glad with that kind of aspect of that kind of talk. But if you begin to go inside now, you notice the president say he want for review the Decentralization Act, he want for review Local Government Act for aid national development. Now when they take acts like that one, the way Sierra Leoneans then fight for, they say they want this decentralization because they work too much bureaucracy. What's not bureaucracy? Bureaucracy now all that waste that we get so you go to government, industry, ministry, them you get for waste them for do things. So Sierra Leoneans, by and large, been glad they talk about decentralization and that decentralization act. So the thing that we will say now, like say we're not sure about. If you say they review decentralization act, we want to know to whose direction. Now, with a view towards enhancing it, strengthening it, giving the people of Sierra Leone more decentralization, or now with a view towards retracting, meaning taking it back, because it is about national development and EU agenda. EU agenda now for centralize everything. So we worried about stuff like that because, like we say, enough clarity not there. But then we also get a caveat for say when this speech we present again, not so all thing they come on and aid, not say one the right all thing. Different ministers and they will write all things. And if we now take that speech there, as we say, as we governance manifesto for the next 12 months, which we expect now going forward, now for the side and they in grey areas, we want more clarity on Andy. So they like today, so what would they expect? Now people really represent the government for give more clarity on that as opposed to try for saying that this number we don't do, now these are the positives. And we'll not let the other side back just to focus on the negatives.
Mr. Booker, His Excellency make this speech amidst the time where the world they go through a pandemic and Salone now one of the countries them where they suffer from such. But amidst this pandemic, the president go ahead and highlight some of the things them where he intend for do and the kind of money where he want for invest in then different sector there. So I take you to the agricultural sector where he talk about inside the speech, where he say a plan for invest over $19 million na the sector for improve on food productivity, the youth sector and defense for work together for going to farming and other things them. With this kind huge investment and thinking of the coronavirus, we don't slow so many things them around the world. What in the C4C makeup of this pronouncement by His Excellency?
Again, good point. That's one of the areas the way we there's a lot of gray areas there. Because you mentioned say they set up institutional farms, we go make up of they work with different partners, youth, defense, correctional centers, and local councils in farm establishment, specifically for life of sufficiency. So what they can do now in that scenario, they can create a whole new crop of farmers in Sierra Leone. Okay? So if you pull people, if you say, for example, correctional centers, you as a government, you go on budget how you feed somebody within a prison. If you take that person you can't go on a farm for go be a farmer, you get for re-budget how you feed her. So who side the rest they come out for begin feeding them farmer they are so? Who side the accommodation they come out? We don't talk about that 19.8 million day. You don't talk about the accommodation we get for create for these farmers. We talk about institutional farms. You talk about farms we get for be manned by thousands of people. So these are the gray areas. It's nice for say, yes, we want to set up institutional farms, we get this 19.8 million, but we as a party, we would like for see detail. We want to know now if they don't consider all the different aspects. Me, I mean industrial economists. So as you begin talk about how to set up institutional farms, I think you have to begin pull people in the family. You have to pull them at the prison because you're not going to take somebody within a Pademba Road, for example. If you assume so you want to go back to that old system we've been getting in the 70s where they grow up, where they use prisoner, that you can see them kind of begin to brush you area and that kind of stuff. Like that. If you have to do that with an institutional farm, that means the people are going to live on the farm. So what should they do? They pull them at the correctional centers. We they talk about building some site for them for good tap. We they talk about what do they feed them with? The rest now we staple food. So if we're not getting enough food for feed ourselves right now, then you create these institutional farms, assuming they
but not so good initiative.
It's a good initiative. Just saying I want to do institutional farms. Whenever the government says I want to feed me people, a good thing. Okay. So let me say we get three. I always want to follow to go back to the father. We get three ways to look at this. One, there's certain things we're very happy about. There's certain things we're not sure. So we get more questions. The other person, they will just not glad you. They will just not glad you. Whenever you hear more, we're just not glad you. So
okay. You go come talk about the last one. We waiting we are not glad about. And they come over to Nailo and Sliman, publicity secretary for the SLPP. Lima, you don't hear from within the APC and the C4C don't say. The C4C say they get some gray areas where they need clarification on, and you there so as publicity secretary for the party for the SLPP, and also the APC say some of the things and they where President Bill talk about nothing where the party we don't start and we not the free quality education. So you what you Excuse me.
Well,
All right, so you go just comment on the statements in the way they don't make.
before I really open for begin talk on then issues then they like I just re-echo the president in message to the families them we don't lost their loved ones them to the COVID-19. We the president tell them hush on behalf of the government and the people of Sierra Leone, and also the morale booster in terms of encouragement for the frontline workers of where they fight the COVID-19, where the president extend a moral support message to them and encourage them for do more. I just want for re-echo that for say this government believe in motivating people when they do well, and my government will also believe in consoling people when they in grief. Now coming for talk about some of them things then they I think this government are a very focused government and know exactly what he want to achieve. Now, like as mentioned, say the president or this government don't narrow down in policy priority programs into three. We, of course, we discussions here this morning center around them. We get for do with the free quality education, agriculture, and healthcare. From the president in speech, we know say a realistic, not just a vague statement. Of course, about 21% of the country in budgets they go to free quality education today. Also, with the CSA school feeding program self-day in some part of the country, and at the same time with the C school bus they go on. And currently, as we fight the COVID-19, in a realistic for like picking them physically present in a school at the moment. But even the e-learning self, they go on small with some of the picking them. And president, I mean, in government, this government also, they intend for engage in purposeful discussions as to how we go able for push the educational program before for this country, how we go able for develop educational curriculum way, we go able for help this country in development program. So in spite of the fact, say, with the fight COVID-19, the government still able for do within the within enrich and also improve on the system and also plan, not because we the fight COVID-19, so we not go plan, so when the COVID, when the corona self go done, we not go continue with Musa will be stopped or even develop for Musa will be stopped.
Lima, talking about the education sector, moving the budget up to 21% for the education, His Excellency not only stop there, he go ahead for say in governments not able for build more classrooms as part of the free quality education program and self innovations, then the pilot innovations program them now 170 schools we all are part of the free quality education program. But some of those schools there, so USAI, His Excellency say they're not able for build more classroom and then innovation they outside in the pilot time. Now one way people only ask question for us the specifics, USAI exactly them program they go on.
Well, when the president make in speech, just like Will Lawrence mentioned, it behoves the the media way at least the whole government accountable to the people for bringing the specific line ministry for can expound on some of those areas. I am here as the National Publicity Secretary for the Sierra Leone People's Party for give your own perspective on the president in speech, maybe as how he presents them, because normally when line ministries or MDAs that they present, now a summary of waiting they don't do or they don't undertake, then they present. And so that's how I'm presenting it as well, or me now they give the party in perspective on waiting the president don't deliver. So for make you get in specific details them, I go actually recommend that you talk to the line ministries themselves. We'll go able to expound on some of them specifics because then get the facts and then get the details. So like Carbon, they say also we come for look at healthcare as well.
We will come talk about the healthcare. We want to look at the speech by sector so that we not will miss the conversation. Quickly, let's come to you, Mr. Tunis. You know one person where you open a discussion with the education sector. But let's move from the small bits. Now we look at the healthcare. Where on one side where His Excellency been talk so much things about, he even go ahead and say they don't put over $19 million for construct a cancer treatment center where will be the first where the country go get. And self he talk about over 2,000 healthcare workers, them pharmacists and other people where they recruit midwives and other people them during this time where the country they fight the coronavirus. Waiting on a party make up of that.
Well, I mean,
the way governments don't put.
You know, anything we get for do with the improvement and development of this country, we always, we look forward to that. For now, we get a cancer treatment and a national diagnostics capability, now a very good thing, and we go look forward for see a fruition of that, the implementation of that one day. We hope say it not go only end in the speech. Going forward, a lot of investment don't happen in the healthcare sector in the past. Of course, the previous government, that will be one of the major item under the agenda for change and the agenda for prosperity. And of course, it starts with a lot of investment in the construction of hospitals across this nation, construction of medical stores across this nation, the introduction of the free healthcare initiative in 2010, we lead to so many pregnant women, lactating mothers, accessing health facilities, and delivering their babies in hospitals. Just in 1 year, we get over 30,000 pregnant women will access health through the free healthcare initiative. So for now we see the government, they still emphasize on delivery healthcare. It's a good thing. However, we therefore match this speech to the reality on the ground. In as much as we don't see a lot of investment in the healthcare sector in the past, we left with over 1,270 peripheral health units handed over to this administration, and more than 16 hospitals, and also 500-bed hospitals under construction in the western area alone, a well ambulance system, national emergency medical services, when are the ambulance system, all of them things, and they happen. But we still the see with the struggle, we get challenges in the healthcare sector a bit. And I sure say, even with the intervention of the COVID, we don't see then challenges then they come to light. And we hope and pray that the government, as the president emphasized on health in his speech, it will focus on some of them challenges then they. On a daily basis, whenever I see, for example, an ambulance go take a COVID patient, I wonder how in the hell I see an ambulance without even a stretcher. I want to know why. Because just under 2 years, we get brand new ambulances under the National Emergency Medical Services. I want to know why with healthcare sectors, then they still struggle for get basic drugs for treat things like malaria. Then they still struggle for get IV fluids. These are some of the areas that we want for focus. With all of the investments that we don't put in health sector in the past, and then with all of the talk about investment in healthcare going forward under the president's address.
Mr. CD, you talk about the huge investments with the APC doing in healthcare, and you specifically mentioned the free healthcare. Also, you say over 30,000 pregnant and lactating mothers their access. But in the same vein, we see also USAI in all of this, Sierra Leone still at one of the worst country them where woman for born picking. Big woman they still they die, picking they still die, under 5 picking they still they die. So if you think say the free healthcare now be a success under the APC.
Oh yes, all indications have been this in a success. We therefore look at the free healthcare in different categories. The first of all, the intention of the free healthcare now before increase access to quality health by pregnant women, lactating mother, and children then. Because before the introduction of the free health, we see say plenty women they be the born at house, plenty women they be the face complications during the time and then they die. And so we increased access. And then not only increasing access, we ensure say we build hospitals and we equip them. Before the free healthcare, I remember very well, we take a tour of this country and we go now hospitals.
So my question was it a success under
it was. It increased access, and because we see say when we introduce the free healthcare, we still be the get we partners, the give figures, we high as far as maternal and child mortality concern, and that make we introduce the MDSR, the maternal death review system, for let we as a nation able for get we own statistics and figures for present a true picture as to waiting really now the situation of we healthcare delivery service, and I hope say the government they continue with that.
Quickly, Mr. Tunis, just a yes or no answer. You think say on our government during on our term, on be able for left proper structures in place where maybe the SLPP government for just continue with a campaign healthcare sector, because you make mention of ambulance then now we see we not even get stretchers in.
We left structures in place we've been far more improved than what we made, and where we see room been there for improvement for this government, but we not expect them for struggle in that light.
Alright, so they come out to you, Mr. Fokker, from the C4C party. When they look at the healthcare sector and the money where His Excellency say government don't put over $19 million for construct a cancer treatment center, where they limit the way how Salone people they go for medical facilities overseas. Waiting the C4C make up of this.
C4C glad for Andy. The fact that we get within the speech called a diagnostic and radiotherapy cancer treatment center. If you say that as soon as cancer may die of, and I know the problems they even go through for letting get diagnostic. So anything with the help in that regard, we're glad about. Simple. The only part we're not glad. I would the president, for example, say $19.8 million.
Right.
Some tears they say $50 million, some tears they say dollars. Because at the time we say let we make sure say we do everything in Leons. So it's by you lead by example. Not quote nothing in dollars. We then give him loan $19.8 million. The president, if he say, and because in governor, the bank governor of Sierra Leone, or Bank of Sierra Leone, the president they represent, and if you say no, I don't quote nothing in dollars, I don't want the president for go now with parliament and go tell you about something we then get in dollars. So then I just something we will say, okay, for future, let we try for bringing more of that local feeling. You understand? Don't forget for the look outside, and now then we go end. What they conclude? Now then we go end, because part of the problem we will get with the look outside too much. So anything we get to do with progress, we like Andy. You talk about healthcare, yes, okay. We'll talk about education. 21% of the budgets to go towards education. We like that because a certain amount to go, it shows a certain amount of focus. But you also talk about that education, which you really talk about that 170 schools, the education innovation challenge. Yeah. So that's in there. It happened in 170 schools right now, but currently we only get 5 innovations. There's a reason for that. The reason for that is for you get innovations coming out, you need for the put money in. So go like for you, the president talk about Sierra Leone having some sort of research and development budget. Every country where they develop get them. Sometimes 0.5% of your country budget, sometimes 1%.
But at the start, you don't think so?
At the start is very good. No, it's very good. Like I say, who they give credit where credit is due. Also, the president from the Telecom in 2018, he means the budget where they go towards health can be 7% of the budget. 2019 he increased that to 10.5%. We're glad about that one day. 2020 he said don't go 11%. We're glad about that one day. It's a recognition that healthcare na Salone is not there in any state way for day. I should say we'll not go sit down and say yes we have with our healthcare. But the fact that the president increased the budget, that's pretty good. However, what we want for the SINA, we don't want for Yeri say they increase the budget. We don't want for Yeri, these are things you talk about Kajira. We don't want for Yeri say they want for they not increase healthcare workers by 3,000. They don't promise standing for 2020. Then we Yeri say the one day we fight this COVID-19. Then they pass strike or they think for go strike because they not give them money yet.
Mr. Lima, from the ruling SLPP party, His Excellency say from 2018 it means the healthcare budget 7% as of 2020 it don't increase them to 11%, but with 11% of the national budget going into the healthcare sector, 10 like this will still the healthcare worker and they say then they lay down tools, although the country affects the COVID-19. So with 11% budget, what thing really they happen? Why the healthcare workers them government not even for appease them?
Well, I mean, just maybe before we, if I don't come look at that specifically, I be just want for take the discussions from the previous speakers. I want for say, CD talking about healthcare, yeah, I think that's idea I'm not going to deny too much, but initial discussions around education been really they far from the truth. But in terms of healthcare, I think this is one area where we still not going to take away from the previous government. Even though they may get a lot of gray areas, but like I talk, them being able for do one or two things, we're able for give access to people them for make them go able for access the facility. And like you talk, when the Ebola struck out, we've been see the brokenness in the healthcare, but at the same time, some areas and the other may get right. So now that make even in the president in speech, and not talk say it is start from scratch. It talks say it don't increase even in terms of budgetary allocation, so that it go able for improve on some of the facilities. When you take a look at the healthcare during the APC tenure, okay, then do their own best, but a lot of things not been right in the sense that you been get a lot of people, healthcare service workers, them way not be employed, and at the same time, it sounds like say people them way been the work out of voluntary services now them they pay themselves. So you find out say waiting government they put parents that way they go for go access the service not able for realize them, because at the end of the day, them voluntary workers then they get for still able for ask for money, and so in terms of free healthcare that perhaps not going to be actually realized. So what in this government don't do, this government don't try for recruit more healthcare workers in terms of nurses and other health technicians them, so that then go there on salary instead of clogging the place with too many voluntary workers. We go also divert the focus of waiting government they try for actualize. So this government don't try for increase on the budget in terms of even paying salary and also improve on other facilities. So if we talk about currently waiting make with the see people them they strike or they say them go lay them off, well, first of all, you get a lot of healthcare workers out there where still not able for they on payroll, and with this thing called voluntary service, we also that self go able for like make government missing program. This government actually now encourage that. Waiting this government try for do now for increase them money than they, so that we'll be able for employ more healthcare workers. In terms of what we talk about now, people trying for strike or trying for lay people off, this is specialized case we talk about here, wherein we get the COVID-19. In fact, most of the healthcare workers where maybe they on salary not even volunteer for even offer them service for the fight against COVID. You get a lot of people where maybe not be done there on payroll, they volunteer them service for make them go able for decide say them go serve. And because of the COVID-19, it is my view that there is a special budget where a day, even in terms of waiting people that they contribute. So you need proper structure for make them go able for know, first of all, how many people will volunteer for work during this COVID-19 period, and how for able for streamline and structure them so that they go able for pay them, and then go able for get access to the money and the service with them.
Talking about the structures, Mr. Lima, so we don't see this BNTM, then people there, so they will body, the frontline workers that don't sit down with the Minister of Finance and other stakeholders, then they don't get negotiation, they're able for sort certain things out. Because they reach at an agreement for the pay the 1 million every month. They lay down their tools then, because they say for when they don't get this agreement at 2 months this now, government not able for meet part of their own needs them.
Well, from what you understand, it's like government or the one themselves within at the EOC, including either Ministry of Finance, they do verification of the number of people we enroll. And so once you verify for know how many people we enroll, then you're able to work the budget of the one them we actually don't render service within this period. So once they're able for verify done, and then go for go across the country and try for do verification. That's not going to just happen immediately or at speed, because it gets for do money business and transparency. We know one for experience like the things them way maybe will be experienced during the Ebola, because now when we make mistakes, we learn from that mistakes and try to get them right. So we want to make sure, say, if we pay people them, we at least don't serve, and the way we're able to verify, say, then serve, and then they on record. So at the end of the day, when you pay, you'll be able to account for, say, these were the number of people who work in this particular hospital, and this not the money where we pay them, so you're able to account for that. But if you not verify that, then you know get them right. So let people be patient a bit. I am certain the Ministry of Finance and the EOC, they collaborate for make them able to get them right.
All right. Well, if you listen to the program, you listen to Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from 98.1. Now, Freetong 89.5. Na Kwenadu and Falaba. Well, inside radio and the environment they hear from Radio Malen 88.5 and also Radio Colenten 90.0 na Cambia and Radio Moan 105.5 na Kailan district. And we get inside the program this morning. CDI Tunis, Deputy Publicity Secretary for the APC, Lawrence Bolokoka, National Publicity Secretary, C4C Party, also Lara Lawrence Lehman in the Publicity Secretary for the Salone People's Party. This morning, we did look at, we did continue for look at President Bill in address we make to the nation as we begin this discussion on Friday. I come now to Mr. Koka. Let me look at waiting President talk when it comes to inclusive and accountable justice institution. It just be briefly, it's a government will promote inclusive, equal, accessible, and accountable justice institutions and practices. Now that's it make inside in address to the nation for the C4C. What will I make up of this and the justice system in a whole?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the fact that for now they will not only read this speech here, so will not be listening to the speech. I'm glad at the fact, Asma, that you mentioned that it will be very brief. And given the state of the country right now, the turmoil they go through in relation to the legal system, that's one area where we will expect for a lot more about which they go on.
Why?
You know? Because there's a lot of things going on. In any country where you want development, you need peace. If you want peace, then the rule of law is number one. So in Sierra Leone today, for example, with constitution, just as an example, say you don't hold somebody for more than X number of hours without you not charge them or you let them go. As soon as you flout down there, you don't begin to create issues at the country. Because in law, we always talk about precedents. Once you don't begin set example, one time, the happy people see them, they left and for go through, it will create challenges. And we go for remember this continuity, we will not get for day, not power forever. But so, just like how the president be brief, me say will be very brief on that one day. So I left on there. One thing I want to touch on is something where the National Publicity Secretary for the SFP just talked about, Lima. This verification thing, you know, that need to worry we. That need to worry we because it suggests, say, the system of the administrative system gets some lapses. If na scenario in relation to the health workers, yeah, so if na scenario where the government inherits COVID-19 and then come into the workman there, so we understand. So for example, where they may do verification for teachers and other public service workers, we understand because you can't inherit a workforce. But I don't understand how something they happen under your watch, it begin under your watch, you they employ them people there, so that should have been the verification. At the point where they come and say, can't apply you, I take you, you work, that should have been the verification. So something happened there, that process there. And this is not something when on a HMI, when I would ever hire them people, when at the EOC, they need for look at that, put that system there in place. Because when you listen to that audio we've been coming out one time where the people have been saying that we they go do all the testing and all that kind of stuff, they first will be inside the building, they later on they pull in a door and go put on that mango tick. You don't want to hear that. Because this federal effect, so this COVID-19 federal effect, if the testing not come, it failed, if it drop, if it stop, everything else stops. All the motor car will buy for feds, all they stop. All the lockdown will put, all no matter. If we're not able to go and go find out who that get this here, and they will for trace them. So that's one of the things that we really worry with this thing about verification. We didn't get it. Like I say, we're happy that verification they take place. We don't want government for waste money, but now you hire them in the first place. This thing started under your watch. So if you're not able to say where you hire them, we want, if now 1,000 you want, if you don't know who than 1,000 in there, if you don't win any come, if you don't count all the IDs and stuff, you're gonna set your criteria, you know. So we'll go on there. Let Yana say we do something.
All right, will they come to you, Mr. Tunis, talking about the justice sector? Also, His Excellency, in passing, where they making statements, is say they go ensure say everyone get equal justice and safe. We go make sure say uphold the rule of law. And on a party, we don't see plenty press releases. We don't come out from una. We want to draw the attention of the international community, draw the attention of the public of certain things that way una feel say una know they get right, especially where it camp the justice sector. Therefore, with plenty court cases them go on again a court. Waiting on a make up of the justice sector where His Excellency talk about inside his speech.
I mean, this now one area we been very much look forward for Yeri from His Excellency the President. But of course, this the way how he framed in the speech, not just an admission that indeed not to everybody they get justice in this country. And I'm glad with the way how they phrase that my government will, that word will, and not say we have, will. So I hope say it will live up to that for ensure say everybody get equal justice, because as it is now, we don't face a lot of injustice as a political party. You know, we get so many cases pending in court where they see justice they be given on one side and justice denied on we side. We don't they suffer a lot of that since this government came into power. And like you rightly stated, so many press releases don't they go. And you know, waiting with the see they happen, it is not just waiting they happen to be. Now, and the manner in which it is done, we will see complete and blatant disregard for the constitution of this country in the dispense of justice. Salone. It is scary, and it becomes scarier as we see things then they happen. And we really hope and pray that as INSEF don't state in the speech, now something this way we all will come together as a country for address, because you know they only stop with political parties. So many people they suffer injustice. The APC we don't highlight them repeatedly, but beyond we, a lot they suffer injustice. You get so many people incarcerated for many years without justice, you know. So then things they also get for stop. No country no day we go be guaranteed lasting peace if justice no day. And that make whenever we see the injustices they happen, where they highlight them cases were supposed to be addressed by the Supreme Court, let them be addressed by the Supreme Court to the conclusion. Cases were supposed to be addressed by the appeals court, let them be addressed by the appeals court to the conclusion. So at the end of the day, once we don't get verdict, everybody gonna say verdict come up. But you not go hold on to cases indefinitely because if you say you're not comfortable if you go to certain level. I mean, Bolo mentioned about people being arrested and locked for 20-30 days without sometimes charges. You know, all of them things then they not right under the justice system, and we need to address them head on.
Mr. Tunis, in as much as we look at the President Bill in speech now, but let they go backwards for no waiting be happen under the APC. So in your estimation, you think say the APC handle the justice sector properly, and waiting be the thing they will not do that the way I think say na be a success. We now don't really go down.
A lot of reforms that happen under the justice system at the previous government. I mean, we're not going to say everything with 100%. But then things they also, they see cases, they go to court, political cases, they go to court without conclusion at the rate where they see, and we not see them. For see people being arrested and locked up unnecessarily for 30, 40 days without any charge, we not see them kind of thing then they under the previous administration. You know, and also a lot of people they try to make references, but what we are saying is this: if you take constitutional matter where we know say that the Supreme Court for preside over, and then you hold on, we not get conclusion, we always go talk. A lot of them cases they also will don't present to the Supreme Court, for example. If then cases they are go to the Supreme Court, then sit down on and then decide, you know, wherever you really talk about them again,
Right,
because we will respect the outcome of the cases, because we know that then judges that we sit down at that Supreme Court day or that appeals court day, these are people of high respect, of high repute. But let the cases go.
All right, we will come back to you. We come over to Mr. Liman. We himself there so as member of the SLPP. Mr. Liman, we don't make mention of the judiciary. We President talk about, and your colleague then I also they make mention of. Again, I will read and say, promoting inclusive and accountable justice institution. Governments will promote inclusive, equal access and accountable justice institution and practices. But you know, from the main opposition, APC, they talk about seeing them way the justice system they do now, we're not correct.
I laugh, honestly, when she did the talk, I'm not able to be for hold me laugh. I really get for laugh. But honestly, waiting the president say in his speech, a lot of people say in a few lines, but in the lines then we get a lot of meaning. And meaning in the sense that their established laws say Sierra Leone democracy, they operate on the principles of separation of power. And the president being the executive head, even though you go and say by a mandate as provided for in the Constitution, he should provide leadership for all statutory or for all institutions created by statute or laws of this country. But at the same time, the independence of their institutions then is guaranteed under this government. I think as a president and as a leader of the nation, waiting in the do now for make sure say he creates the right policy framework for promote the good work of then different institutions then they, and that's really the few lines then they try for emphasizing the point of separation of power, emphasizing the point of independence in the operations of the institutions then they. And in terms of talking about more around the justice sector, a few things the way the president don't do, I think he highlights them in other paragraphs or in other speeches, like even when you come for talk about the sexual offenses or gender-based violence, a type of mention say in government don't even ensure tougher measures or tougher restrictions or penalties against sexual offenders. This is the one way we even this government don't try for enhance the justice sector for make sure say we protect we vulnerable ones. When city dimension say during the APC tenure, they not hold somebody in a prison for more than the required period. I know they really use them as a justification, say it should happen under this regime. And I think say if then few things don't happen now, then it's very much isolated and maybe it's justified because currently the courts not really in proper session, and at the same time this not to an ordinary time, and equally so if police they investigate a matter and the tendency they say somebody go tamper with evidence, especially in circumstances like the very day we police to go for arrest somebody try for destroy evidence, then you see I'm say releasing this person get the tendency for tamper with evidence, for destroy evidence. You got to keep them until you finish investigations. And since not since
specific time where you they hold somebody under custody.
Agreed say law gives specific time, but at the same time I just need for know from the civilian laws perspective, but like in the court martial systems where I get clear understanding about. Like the law or the constitution makes the same provisions where the court martial system they look at, but then get a policy framework wherein if you hold somebody for 8 days and that 8 days expire, you can actually write for extend that period. So I don't know whether the civilian system actually get that kind of, but if you know they, then that is a policy then go for consider, because some cases and the way they investigate is so entangled that you're not able to complete the investigations within that required period, and releasing the person if you get a tendency for tamper with evidence or is a flight risk, and especially at a very difficult time like this when we are fighting COVID, releasing that person, you don't know whether you go and get contact with and come and affect other people, then maybe we need to understand them under that circumstance. But the one them where they do the investigations or we actually do go better explain why actually that may happen. Now, like where my brother mentioned, say a lot of people they not hold them without charges. I did up Pademba Road at least for a week, wherein I come in contact with a lot of young boys we say they don't do it for more than certain number of years without even getting an indictment or charges, you understand? So that one area down the way, I think this the Chief Justice they put a proper administrative structure in place for make sure say the judiciary able to work assiduously together with the law officers department for make them get that side right, for make at least everybody where they go through trial for able for know the charges on which it is stand trial. So, like Mr. Segwe, at some point where they be supposed to go me na court. Of course, there was deliberately no fear to take me to court. So the point that I be even get for tell the director of prison, the own line of actions then, but it be enough for big me and we'll be able to get that understanding. So essentially, you know, new waiting really we talk about, but how we they try for get them right is what we are doing.
All right, now His Excellency don't talk now in speech say he go ensure say everybody gets equal justice and plenty political cases them they go on and issues of violence they on the increase and all. How government go ensure say then engage with the judiciary for fast track the political cases that they enter for reduce issues of violence.
Well, I don't know which one way in a political case so they talk about here, but much of the people them way currently the court they try. Yes, they are politicians, but they are not being tried on political grounds. They are tried on account of the fact say they go down infract the laws and violence. Yes, they go on. These are some of the challenges of the COVID with the fight, because you know say before the COVID fight. We've been got football activities where they go on, a lot of other things then they go on, but you find out say because of the COVID and the restrictions, much not they for do, and maybe they lead. They say the idle mind is the workshop of the devil. So some of them things and they self against a recipe for like we experience the too many violence. I pray say we fight the COVID as quickly as possible. Let God make way for finish and come back to a normal life. So you go see football, they play other activities, then we go engage the youth them or the young people and happen. More so again, Usai the president talk about establishing youth farms or engaging them body than they.
Mr. Lehman, we go for now by segment to the take the issue there, as you know, we not get better time, but we definitely go for continue with this program for look at waiting president talk, address the nation, and what's he plan for do in the next 2-3 years. We go look at messages and we don't come at the program. So many don't come, but we'll read brief because of time. DJ again.
The first one I go read, they say the COVID-19 frontline workers deserve better. Verifying for 2 months now is unacceptable.
Government of President Bill has made significant efforts to improve on the welfare of healthcare workers that no government has done since independence. These are some of the incentives provided to HCWs. It say increased salaries twice in 2018-2019, paid on-call allowances and remote allowances, provide COVID risk allowances of 1 million per week. Payments have already started. Income tax rebates or refund all healthcare workers on government payroll receive, and payments for April and May. Life insurance to be implemented by NIC. Government will pay university fees up to 3 children of any healthcare worker that lost his or her life during COVID-19. So it's only President Bill's government.
Alright, more messages we don't come to the program. This one they say, Mr. Lehman, the speech talks about education innovation. How far has that impacted the education sector?
This other message, they say, I like the panel in the studios, and the program this morning is very cool, calm, and we are enjoying, very educative. Keep it up, guys. We will not end with boso.
This one they say a few months ago they told us they finished verification of all workers. Now they are telling us otherwise because they don't want to pay corona frontline workers.
This one said the APC is truly blessed to have CDI Tunis on with them because he's very cool and calculated, and the way he passes on his messages really reaches down to the grassroots. Keep it up, CD.
More messages that don't come to the program. This one they say people should not take the law into their own hands. Police are always there to protect the lives and property.
This one say EU is targeting 100 GSS schools in Bo, Bombale, Potloko and Kenema districts. This entails renovation, reconstruction and construction activities. This is based on the need for expansion due to increased enrollment. Construction activities going on right now. Another message we don't come inside the program this morning. This other message say the time is not enough. We really need to hear about the other sectors. But Radio D, can you please extend the time? Another message we don't come inside the program is say, I just like the C4C guy in the studios. He's really in the middle of the whole conversation. I like the way he ends his statements. Um, Dija? All right, I think now all that we get time for now the program this morning. Good Morning Salone. Though we get plenty of messages them, but as sort of wrapping up, Mr. Kuka, we come over. We start with you, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Let's tell that person thank you for the good word. I'm not going to glad it too much because too much somebody go say that's it for cigar and not be no fine and I not go vex. That's in the back. We continue to applaud the president for the good thing that we do, like how Lima been just mentioned, one of the areas, sexual gender issues, they don't do well there. Another area we're very important to Sierra Leoneans right now, human trafficking. And since Salone passed the Human Trafficking Act 2005, I don't know if now APC passed there or now SLPP, but Salone don't get the first convictions on that, 2 high court convictions. The president talked on that day. And that is important because we see recently some of the people that come back from Kuwait, and then we already say, some of them get test positive for COVID. So all that are important. So all that now, some of that we can go so now part of human trafficking I can carry them go. So for no longer system now, we at least they will address the issues. We're very, very happy about that. Something else in the justice system we've been glad about, now they make that law for say power fishing. The Salone gets waiting and calling out a closed season where 1 month no industrial fishing not take place. That'd be very good. Again, we'll go back. We see that important for the livelihood of Sierra Leoneans because we see it happening at Togo where they try to restrict the boats there to a certain number. So anything where they try to improve the lives of everyday Sierra Leoneans, that's something we C4C go applaud. So in closing, what they try to say, certain area that the president put more emphasis on. One, in his speech, he talked about, for example, the fleet control. When you talk about ambulances, whether I get stretched or not get stretched, are part of fleet control. And I'm not being glad the way, or the party not being glad the way the president see they're still committed to implementing a national vehicle fleet policy with government database. Because this is also to remember when they've been just take over. They were very instrumental about that. And they talk about people really want to away, try for care vehicles and go Guinea and stuff. So 2 years down the road, we go look for the you see that system they in place. Like their new vehicle, they also will buy for COVID. They don't go into that system there. And we'll go for continue for maintain them and keep track of them, even at any point where we may or may not be in power. So for close, what I want to say to the president of Sierra Leone is overall the speech be very good. There are lots of areas we're not happy with. Yeah, but we're not glad with this part where he say with the focus still Sierra Leoneans. And the problem that we go so now, he focus in development and gender. He said we continue for deliver on the 17 UN sustainable goals and the 7 aspirations of the African Union agenda for 2063. Salone people now, we want to present for the say are committed for deliver the People's Manifesto. Don't forget these UN, this UN, that. We had poverty reduction strategy paper. Then we get the revised poverty strategy. Now that they talk about 17 sustainable goals, everything I don't do now we business forever. We will not see development. That speech day, I want to say Leoneans, my last word. That speech where the president of the country they give every year for saying that this may government, that this may government they do. In the end, we want to let the president show commitment to that speech. They for say always we don't do Isayasu. We don't talk inside Yasu. Now then TSO with the focus part. Now then TSO now with development agenda. Let we bring this thing inwards. Let we look how we as Sierra Leoneans, because now even Canon to district.
Thank you.
Free Tonga for beginning to work out how in the sustain itself because both the lock we out, Canada the lock we out, like how we have the lock everybody out with we inter-district.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very
Lawrence.
much, the democracy for
definitely we're going to bring you come for can talk. Well, Radio 1 JCF 101.1 Apujon District, they cover the Ile Wheel this morning. CD, as we wrap up, we don't hear you some comments from the text messages that we can.
She didn't talk through.
I want for tell the texters them plenty thank you. And we go always continue for calm and educate with people on issues we get for do with governance. But I also want for continue for remind this nation and the government particularly say the issue of justice very important. And in as much as my brother Lima they talk about separation of power and so it's supposed to be, but reality not to say a day currently, we don't see sitting members of parliament being arrested and kept in prison, where they not they release them until they consult the president. And even in
You
one
get
of the
evidence of
Exactly.
that.
even one of the recent speeches,
Mr. C, you get evidence of
even
that.
one of the recent speeches,
You get evidence of that.
oh, of course, the
statement?
speaker get for consult. Even one of the recent speeches of His Excellency the President, if we get separation of power, you no need for mention as you speak, say you go talk to the Chief Justice for, ensure X and Y happen.
We get collaboration in governance.
Well, separation of power, you get for ensure say we get independent justice system.
That don't mean you don't collaborate.
Okay, fine. And I want for remind me, brother, say never get issue with the state. The issue not be with SLBC, but of course we no need for going to that.
State institution.
In closing, I mean, we look forward as a country for make we continue for improve and develop this nation. I see in the president in closing of parliament, and it be very important, he emphasized the need for us coming together as a nation. And I hope say in as president and leader of this country go take the lead in that, for ensure say it bring the entire country, especially now, they fight COVID. I mean, it disheartening really for see that COVID fighters, the frontline workers particularly, go the struggle for get hazard pay. All of them issues then they to us like just a matter of priority. I mean, they will be get enough time for plan. We for don't plan to foresee other than really that the required staff they will need. But then all of this unnecessary, I go say, because I don't be an emergency. All of this, their employment, they see of so many special advisors to the interim chairman. Maybe if we don't reduce some of their employment, then they will for able to save enough resources for able to pay with frontline and healthcare workers, then they hazard pay them on time. So I just want the government for pay attention to them thing and they for reprioritize. In the future, I hope say we'll be able to get enough time for discuss other areas than within the speech, because we get areas like the issues of corruption and all of them things that they will really need for highlight.
Thank you very much, CDI Artemis from the APC party. Quickly, would I come to you, Lawrence Lima?
Yes.
For wrap up with the program and we'll try for answer a few questions we come in for you.
I tell the texters and thank you, and just want to say the president in speech on the whole is still focused on the promises we don't make to the people of this country, and is committed for make we able to achieve on that in the day. Remember, the president been declared this year as a year of delivery. We don't be caught up also with the COVID fight, but that notwithstanding, plans are still underway for make we able for continue with governance program. Somebody say waiting at the difference way the education and innovation don't actually do. I think my view say right now, even when we fight COVID, we picking enough physically in a school, but then they benefit from that e-learning system where a lot of picking and they benefit from. I think that now one of the achievements in the education innovation. Also, I want to address some of the points that way my colleagues and raise, like the one where Lawrence talk about the 7 programs of the United Nations and ECOWAS. I just want to emphasize the point, say Sierra Leone, not an island, Sierra Leone are part of the global community, and therefore we policy programs or governance program for align with waiting the United Nations Development Program they look at, and part of with sub-regional focus as well, we for able for align with policy priority programs with them. That not to say waiting then say specifically nine we do, but whatever we do for able for capture the focus or the object.
Michael Sambola and Alex Lawrence Coleman are then produced the program.